Your TikTok with Mr. Beat about liberals being good is an unhinged mess. What do you think is unhinged? Liberals are awesome. They're better than whatever the fuck you think. Das Nak, tell me. Communism and socialism are both economic models, not political ideologies. I love Destiny, but he fumbled a bit here. Okay, on communism, you're absolutely wrong. On socialism, you're, in effect, almost completely wrong. To say that socialism is only an economic model and doesn't apply any sort of political organization, like even capitalism implies some level of political organization. For instance, it would be hard for me to imagine like a monarch with a capitalist government or a capitalist economy. A real monarch, not like a play monarch like in the UK. Or actually, even if anything, that supports my point, right? Like, or it'd be hard to imagine like an authoritarian dictatorship unless the capitalist was literally just like the state, I guess. Like in China's case, you can argue China's like a state capitalist country. But communism and socialism generally imply things relating to political organization as well. But also, they suck economically anyways. Wait, so actually, but even if we just talk about it economically, they suck. So, hold on. People say cut a liberal and a fascist, please. Liberals were the ones that beat the goddamn Nazis, okay? We did.
The communists or the socialists, all these motherfuckers wanted to make alliances with the Nazis.
True,
they did.
did.
With Molotov, Ribbentrop, whatever, they did it. And then afterwards, a lot of these fucking lefties will point out like, oh, what about Operation Paperclip, where we took all the Nazis and we brought some literal scientists to capture their knowledge and everything. But also, the Soviet Union did the exact same thing, and they took more than us. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like Osowawiakim or whatever. This operation, they took over 2,000 of those German scientists, and they took them into their country. So the idea that the United States was alone in this, taking something, like, you have to take the researchers, otherwise they'll all go to the other team. I mean, like, what are you gonna do? I mean, other than all the researchers?
Steal
like,
their information. That's what you do. You steal their information.
yeah, but I mean, that's basically what we did by bringing them over, right?
Well,
Bro doesn't know much about history. What did I say that was wrong? This is the most baseline knowledge, historical take I've ever had that is sharing. Okay, what was wrong? Destiny never heard of Gladio. Nope. Operation Gladio was the codename for the clandestine stay-behind operations of armed resistance that were organized by the Western Union, founded in 1948, secondly by NATO and by the CIA, in collaboration with the Western Union, also the Brussels Treaty Organization, to the Italian branch of the NATO state-behind organization. While the use of assassination, psychological warfare, and false flag operations to delegitimize left-wing parties in Western European countries. What does that have to do with anything I said? It's so clear why Destiny talks to people who know nothing. I like how this criticism is always levied at me, and then when I finally end up talking to your favorite content creator online, we realize that he's actually a fucking moron. He thinks the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was actually real? Okay. We turned a boat of Jews around. Cut a liberal and a fascist bleeds is a great saying and oh so accurate. Thank you. How are these people on my fucking... We need to do more liberal stuff, okay? What are these lefties doing on my fucking TikTok? All right, not good. You should ask TikTok for debates. Yeah. TikTok is like 90% lefties. Parts of it, but there's also parts of TikTok that are like hardcore and far right crazy too.
This Destiny guy has to be a psyop. There's like literally no other explanation. Without fail, every time Hassan does anything, he like literally this was within 2 minutes. He responds. It's crazy. He's like, oh, I don't cover the breaking news when Hassan was like, you know, doing stuff about Gaza, right?
Like what's your point, Destiny? Actually, Hassan has said he doesn't cover breaking news.
He really does just like consume all of your thoughts. It's so fun. It's so weird. It's so weird. This is every Destiny fan. They'll like literally watch a hospital get bombed and be like, I'm not sure if that was actually true or not. I'll need a source for that. I'm like, this is a psyop. It has to be. He's like designed. He's the centrist designed in a lab. I need time to gather all the facts. Dude, do you know how quick this kind of thing happens? It's like we don't have time to like. He's a plant. He has to be.
We don't have time to... Wait, but the thing is, you do have time. You're a streamer. We sit here and do nothing. It's not going to change if you wait a day or two. Why was I linked this? This is so stupid. This has to be a psyop. My psyop is I feel like I'm getting psyop by a psyop. All right. The devil donated 20 bucks. Your sympathy for Ethan of age 3 has led us to your videos. We were also disappointed at the pause on leftovers, as we wish to see a continued oppositional examination of the Gaza/Israeli conflict. Yeah, that's hard for Ethan. If you were a fan base, here's what I will say, okay? Oh, and I can say this, I'm a content creator. If you're a fan of Ethan, if they have an email thing, or if they've got like Twitter DMs open, like sending a message and saying like, hey, I understand that like it's really rough to talk about this and a lot of people are you, but like I appreciate your perspective, or even if like I'm pro-Palestine or whatever, but like I understand where you're coming from. I know this motion probably means a lot to them right now, because I'm sure that they're like super minded. This is probably some of the, if I had to guess in the history of H3H3, this is probably the most amount of public hate I think they've ever gotten. Do you think, have they ever, I'm trying to think, if has Ethan ever been on this unpopular of a side of like woke scolds before or anything like that? Has he? I followed their stuff for like quite a while. I'm trying to think. I know he's been in like some controversial stuff before, but like of this, I don't think so. I wish Destiny would let out his biases. If he has, and I missed them, then all good, but he talks as if he has none, but some topics he approaches with some initial biases from my observation. I'm pretty sure I just tell you. Don't I tell you when I have like, oh, this is what I think about this so far? This is like, I'm pretty sure I've stated that almost everything. Like there's very few topics that I know absolutely nothing about, right? So I'm probably going into almost everything with somewhat of a bias. I'm pretty sure for the Israel-Palestine thing, I went in with a slight, I feel like I've had a Palestinian bias, but as I've read more and more over time, I start to lean a little bit more Israel. Now that I've done way more history reading, now I'm starting to really lean towards Israel. But again, that might change by the time we finish. We'll see. Okay. What is this? This was posted in the H3H3 subreddit. I know that Destiny and Hasanabi heads don't overlap because it's something that happened around or before 2018. I'm actually a longtime viewer of both Hasan and H3, and I'm not really sure what happened. Just that it spawned the what a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar meme. I'm honestly in full support of pausing leftovers literally because Destiny's YouTube page is just filled to the brim of shit on both Hasan and Ethan. I understand if you find that takes problematic, but the manner in which Destiny does all of that is so gross, I guess. Clips of him show up on my Insta feed all the time, and he seems to have reasonable takes most of the time. I just hate that Leftovers alone is supplying ammunition to that guy. The Venn diagram comparing leftists who hate Hasan and Ethan and Destiny fans is a circle. I am the boogeyman, true. It's not complicated. Oh boy.
So it's not a complex issue. That's the big thing. It's super simple. There's one group that has enormous power. It's the most powerful country in the Middle East. It's backed by the United States. It acts on another population of people with total impunity and is never held accountable for anything. So there's no symmetry in the relationship.
Never held accountable for anything compared to every other theocratic regime in that part of the world? Wait, hold on. Potentially super ignorant question. I think I asked this a few days ago. Are there any other democratic regimes in that do like voting and everything, like even remotely democratically, like in the Middle East? I think Iraq might now, right? Don't they? Or I can just Google this. Democracies in the Middle East. The Eastern countries with constitutional monarchies are generally considered democratic. For example, Jordan, Kuwait, Morocco, and Bahrain are considered constitutional monarchies. So does this mean like the king of Jordan just doesn't have much power, or?
Period. And just as like a thought experiment, IDW people, if we know that if somehow a population of Jewish refugees ended up in West Bank and Gaza, and an Arabic government in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv had an open-air prison in Jewish Gaza, which they bombed with white phosphorus, they killed civilians indiscriminately, and they had no provisions for medicine. They had an embargo that blocked food, that the electricity wasn't running, that there was an over 48% unemployment rate, life expectancy and malnutrition statistics were horrifying. One of the major policymakers in this hypothetical Arabic Palestinian state said, we need to put those Jews on a diet. In the West Bank, there was another Jewish area where there was a little bit more autonomy, but there was regular Arabic settlements where they pulled up the Jewish farmers' foods, they terrorized them with rocks, the security forces broke children's bones, and they couldn't drive on their own roads. we'd all have no problem understanding what that was. So there's nothing complex about it. The second part of your question, it's a pure asymmetry relationship. And the question is rights or not. So that's it. It's not complicated. So it's
Okay.